happening? I know y'all probably sleep. Yeah, I'm up and about. I'm a night owl right now. For right now, I kind of work better at night. Um, at some point, it gotta change because it's best to get your rest at night. That way, you can be fresh in the morning and take care of your business in the morning. You have a better rotation. At night it breaks up your sleep. It breaks the cycle up. So it's not good. You only do that when you're really grinding. Right now I'm grinding, so I got to be out here this time. Normally I wouldn't be, but yeah. So it's been something. It's crazy out here, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. It's maybe I'm just a little bit shot out, but I'm more comfortable when it's a little crazy. You know what I mean? I guess because of how I was brought up and the things I went through, the experiences that I experienced, you know, um, I'm more comfortable when it's rough. I guess that's because I've been going through the roughness consistently the most. You know what I mean? You know, um, the only time I really can imagine when it was um, joyful and peaceful was when I was younger. See, when you don't have cares and worries, that's a peaceful existence. Most of us, we don't have peaceful existence in life. We have peaceful existence as children coming up. But once responsibility take shape and form, then, because we used to being taken care of, we don't really coach our children. We don't really explain to them the banking system or teach them the banking system. Even if you don't know, y'all can learn together. You know, um, we need to instill in our children that will benefit them. The schools don't. The schools teach them what would benefit society as workers. You know what I mean? They don't teach them to be independent thinkers. They don't teach them financial dependency, financial independence, or financial literacy. Uh, only way that they knowing it now is because of the brilliant young minds who's propagating it. This is a new propulsion in life and in business. The way how business is done, I respect it. It changed. And a lot of my generation, a lot of my, culture, my peer group, we're not so easy to change. That's why it's so difficult for us to prosper in this day and time and how this world is operating now, because we're so used and comfortable with the old way of doing things. We need to change our perspective. We need to understand that no longer exists. That we live in a time that don't even exist no more. This is a new day and time. This is a new thought process. You know what I mean? You got to be a forward thinker now. In order for you just to get by, you got to be, up to par and a forward thinker. Or else you're going to be just missing and immersing in that struggle right in the ghetto. And right now the ghettos are changing. because gentrification is at an all-time high. The city of Philadelphia is changing. Um, the average the average black person in the city of Philadelphia won't be able to live or afford to live in the city in the next 5 years, even shorter than that. The way how I've been seeing things go up, they build a new condominiums every day, new buildings. Um, the city of Philadelphia is on fire. It's an explosion of entrepreneurship that's going on here, man. It's like a hub, and it's stretching all across the city. So those of us that live in those hoods, you're gonna start seeing the changes coming. You're gonna start seeing uh, the lots being cleaned out and houses being built. You're gonna see the property value go up if they haven't been going up already. These things is going to become critical because now it's going to be displacement. Because if you can't afford to live here, then you're going to have to get a Section 8 or a housing authority, and it's not going to be in the city. It's going to be in the outskirts. So that's just the way it's going on right now. So it's incumbent upon us, man, to get back on our shit. Get our thing right, man. You know, if you don't know, learn. There's so much information out here, man. So much information. Go ahead and learn that. Get it done. Because this thing here, this thing is getting real critical. We have to see it for exactly what it is. You know, take the wool over our eyes. Understand that less than 5 years, you're not going to be able to afford in your own neighborhood. The same neighborhood you grew up in. But then again, when you look at it on the flip side of things, that's what's killing us. Suffering within our neighborhoods. Having to be submitted to those type of conditions. It's insufferable. That's why so much anger. You're forced to live under your means. It's hard to live with anything under 30,000 a year. It's really hard. I don't know. So, what are we gonna do? The only thing to do is just go ahead and get our thing right. Educate ourselves, find exactly what it is that you enjoy doing and that you want or desire to do. And if you don't know, then go learn it. Because time is definitely running out. You want to be at the forefront. It should get a little crazy. See, this is teaching us to strap up our boots. This is teaching us that no one else out there is going to help us but us. No one out there is going to help us but us. So all that individualism, all that you thinking that you better than the other, in their eyes, we are the same. No matter how much money you got, you're still a nigga to them. But see, you can see that for what it is, then you can maneuver better. See, I don't like things to be, hidden, sneak hating or sneak racist. It is what it is. If you hate me, then show it. I don't have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you hate me, I hate you. You hate me, I don't give a fuck about you. You know what I mean? But all that, I love everybody. The hell I do. There's no way you can love everybody. You know what I mean? Now, you don't have to hate. Hate is a different story. But you don't have to love everybody. You know what I mean? You don't have to. It's just not right for you to exist in this world and say that you love everybody. No, it's you know you it's a fallacy. It's a fantasy. You know what I mean? It really is a fantasy. Um, just love you. See, once you love you, hating anybody or even thinking about hating, it's just not in the cards. Because you filled with so much love, you filled with you. You know what I mean? You ain't thinking about nobody else because you focus on you. You know what I mean? You being who you are. You loving you. You know what I mean? And once you start loving you, once you start appreciating you, then you're going to start doing better. See, the things we doing it because we have no self-love. We haven't been taught to love ourselves. Even coming up in the hood as children, we've been taught to defend ourselves. We haven't been taught to love ourselves. You know what I mean? Whenever we're being disciplined or whenever we hurt, we in pain, and we start crying as a young boy, the first thing they say is, oh, stop them tears. You know what I'm saying? You can't show your emotions. You know why? Because the majority of us was raised by our woman. Majority of us was raised by our mothers, by our aunts, by our grandmothers. You know what I mean? So the thinking is on that note because we haven't, our youngest, they haven't rubbed up against some real men. That's just how it's going there. We skirted in our responsibility. You know what I mean? So now it's time for us to show and prove what real men are by our actions, not just lip professing and talking. We gotta actively participate in dissolving that resolve that our kids got, that anger. We gotta touch the heart, touch the soul. But first, we got to come in a humble manner. We come in a humble manner, respecting the fact that we identifying our fallacies, our faults, what we've done. We let them know that we recognize that we were at fault in making those decisions that ultimately affected their lives. That breaks the resolve. You see what I'm saying? Because all their lives, they have never, ever been told that they really not at fault. Never been told that. And never been apologized to. They went through the trauma. They went through a life of trauma. They went through all the craziness that this world has to offer them without our protection. See, we can't miss the fact that we skirted in our responsibility in protecting and providing for them when we actively participated in those activities back then that took us away. That's just the reality of it. Once we own up to that fact, man, trust and believe, that breaks the posterior, that breaks that resolve, that breaks that anger, that makes them understand and see that, man, wait a minute, because we want to give them a second thought. We want we we want to we want them to see that just as you have been taken for granted, and just as you have been misrepresented, so have we. We've been misrepresented because all they see is the craziness that happened afterwards. But they don't show the reasons why. They don't show the conditions and how they had us suffering in those ghettos. You know what I'm saying? When they understood that the country was falling at that minute, that they was just going broke. That's when that plan was devised. Take it or leave it. Because there's no way that the prices of those units can drop from 50 to 25 in a matter of months. It just don't happen that way. That was a plan. That was a design plan. And we fell for the open door. But our kids suffered all the most. So yes, we owe them an apology. We owe to make amends with them. We owe that. But what that does is that breaks that resolve. That gets them to open up. You see what I'm saying? We challenge the gangster by reaching their heart. Challenge the gangster by reaching their heart. It's the only way to do it. Any other way is going to be combative. I've done it. I'm doing it. I've been talking to my youngest. I've been, listening to my youngest. And I hear what they talking about. I hear what they saying. I hear what they feeling. I know what they feeling. I had to recognize that fact. I had to see it for what it was. And when I really saw it, when I really recognized it, I immediately submitted to it. I immediately submitted to it and understood that now it's not about me, it's about them. That we need to set up a structure, all of us within our family, because we've been living unstructured life. A lot of us come up under DPA checks, free cheese and things of that nature there. My generation. The younger generation, they come up rougher than that. Change got to come. The only way that it's going to come, though, is that we got to make it. We got to make it for ourselves first. If we expect them to change, we got to be the change. That's just real talk. We can't expect them to change if we're not the change. So let us be the change. So we can change them. Then we can change our conditions. Talk heavy. 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Brain cells sparking. Coming up, I really had to make different pivots in life. You know what I mean? Coming from a wonderful childhood with discipline, with perspective. You know what I mean? we were instructed, you know what I mean? We were raised by both parents until a certain time. But in the beginning, that's why it was so important. That's how I understood that it's so important to get to them young, man, because when our kids was young, they saw everything and they absorbed it. They didn't know what they were seeing, but they absorbed it, and it came back to them later in life. This is what gave them this attitude. Because that's why we can't tell them nothing. We can't tell them a damn thing. We got to show them. They from the showing state. We fell for the okey doke. They ain't falling for that. Got to pivot, man. The old way of doing things just ain't working. Let's pivot. Let's work on a resolve. Let's try something different. Try something different and make amends. Just for right now. I don't know if you're with them, but if you can get in touch with them, call them, get in touch with them, and just let them know, say, listen, let me explain something to you. First, you gotta let them know, I love you. I love you regardless. And then you got to let them know that whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing in the streets or whatever, just understand that anything can be forgiven. But first, you didn't get that from yourself. See, because I brought you into this world. So if this is your reality, then it was because of me. By my actions or my inactions. Somewhere I went wrong at, and I must apologize for that. I want to start from right there, right this day forward. What I want to do is I want to establish a dialogue, man, because I see there's questions that you need answered. And I'm here to answer. And you be totally honest and transparent with them. From that moment on, what y'all be establishing a relationship. That relationship can change the world. You see what I'm saying? But it starts with us. It starts with us. Once we start, they're ended perfect. Trust and believe that. Talk heavy, cuz. Talk heavy. And that's where I was trying to get them to start at. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been conditioned to live a certain type of way. They created a way to live on their own. The reason why they created a way to live on their own because we gave them no direction. You know what I'm saying? We gave them no direction. We got involved, so we really didn't know and see what was up. But it's a way to do it. It's a way to be. But that's where it starts at. It starts with making amends. It starts with dialogue. So we can come to a serious understanding. And that in itself will establish that relationship. So that's the way I see it. Anybody else have any other ideas? Let me know. You know what I mean? But I was just tapping in behind a little bit, and I appreciate everybody tapping in. You know what I mean? Because we got to get back on this. You know what I mean? And just remember, man, love life, be